Hi, I'm Nick Paulson and you're watching News 24 Live. I'm joined in studio by Professor Clive Gray, who is a professor of immunology at UCT, who's recently published a paper on the Ebola outbreak called A Dead-End Host, Is There a Way Out?, which is based on the premise that a large portion of people who have contracted the virus haven't necessarily died from it. Clive, welcome. Thanks for joining us. So yeah, as I touched on, what are the medical efforts that are being undertaken to halt the spread of the virus in terms of immunology?
Well, there are two lines of effort. One is making a vaccine, which is basically a substance which strengthens your immune system so that you never contract the virus. The other is immunotherapy, which is what you give to patients who are already people infected with the virus, and hopefully that will clear the virus. But it has to be stressed that neither of these are being implemented right now in the field.
Why is that?
Well, it's mainly cost, but also mainly supply. So in terms of a vaccine, the vaccine effort has really stepped up over the last 6 months. Bear in mind, this is a viral outbreak that has occurred sporadically over the past 38 years, where it may have reared its head maybe every 2 or 3 years, or maybe every 5 years, with perhaps 150, 200, 300 people succumbing to the disease. So a vaccine was never really in the main thrust and main priority because of this. But now there's this massive outbreak. People are mobilized globally. It's a global mobilization of scientists, immunologists, vaccinologists, virologists to make a vaccine. So in a sense, the epidemic has caught us a little bit unprepared.
Okay, so I mean, in terms of, I'm assuming for something like this, clinical trials are involved. Obviously, time is not on our side. So what were some of your findings when you produced this paper?
So let me just backtrack a bit. This paper is a position article. It's it was penned by 3 individuals. I was one of them, and it's on behalf of the International Union of Immunology Societies, which is a global network of immunology societies. And we wanted to make a statement. So what we're doing is collating and reviewing other people's work and making a statement based on other people's work. So what we're saying in the paper is that vaccine efforts are being made. They must hurry up. They must speed this up. You can only speed these things up with adequate funding. So governments, non-profit organizations like the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, great, fund it, which they are doing, but it still needs. Unfortunately, we can't put many of the vaccines into people without going through clinical trials. We can't risk the notion that we may cause more harm than the disease itself. So we have to go through the phases and the stages of different clinical trials where we test the safety and then we test the type of immune response. The promising feature of this is that in monkeys, which also succumb to Ebola virus disease in the same way that humans do, these vaccines, or certainly 2 of these vaccines, provide 100% immunity. So these monkeys are completely protected. That's the most promising. So what the vaccine and immunology and the virology community now need to do is to do these vaccine trials, which are taking place.